Hi everyone. This morning I just wanted to talk about cutting the triangles out for the Vintage Crosses Sew Along. You can find the information for the Vintage Crosses Sew Along on my website, Sharon Keatley Quilts. And on my website you can find my blog that has the weekly blog posts on each step of the sew along. You can find it hashtag Vintage Crosses Quilt on Instagram and my Facebook group, and you can also sign up for my newsletter on my website, which will tell you of each week's blog post and the different things that are going on. Okay, so we've got our squares cut. So what I would do to cut the triangles is I would find the 45-degree line on my ruler. You can see it just here where it says 45. I'd lay that on the left hand side usually of the block, and then I'd line up from corner to corner and cut. Then I would just lift the ruler, and normally I would turn the board. Whoops, it's going to turn the camera as well. And then repeat for the other side of the block with the 45-degree angle and repeat. And that way you get your 4 triangles. And that's how I would normally cut the traditional way for getting the triangles. But sometimes you've got a lot of little scraps and bits and pieces that you've leftovers from other things that you've made. So in that case I would be using a 1/4 square triangle ruler. These are really great, and what I've found with the Vintage Crosses triangle sizes, I've just measured the triangle from cutting the traditional way, put my companion ruler up against it, and then where it says 2, this 2-inch part right there, that's the width of the strip you have to cut to use this ruler with. So in that case you can either cut a 2-inch strip like this one, and you can use this ruler, which means you just place it 2 inches there. Oops, that's not 2 inches, sorry, but you get the gist. If this is 2 inches cut, I think this might be a 2.5-inch cut, but if that was a 2-inch cut, oh yes it is, I must have had the ruler in the wrong place, but there's a 2-inch cut. So when I line it up properly, you can see that my tip is on the top and the line is on the bottom. So then you would cut this there and then down there, and then the next cut you would simply just turn the ruler around, and then you would line the top on this edge and the line up on that edge, and then do the next cut, and just repeat till you get to the end of your strip. And you can double your strips. We can actually go up to about 4 layers and get nice cuts, but normally I don't like to go too heavy because you can distort the cut. So that's another way of doing it. If you've got small pieces like these, one thing to be aware of is that the bottom line where the 2-inch mark is needs to be on the straight of grain. So always cut with that on the straight grain. Never cut with that on the bias grain. As you see, this piece here is cut on the bias, and if I cut that there with the ruler on this edge, I would then have bias grain on the bottom, and my blocks would go out of shape. So I like to keep the straight of grain on this bottom edge, because when you look at a cross block, what you're seeing, your long side of the triangle is on the outside, and you want that nice straight of grain there so it's not going to distort it. And that's why you need to place the 2-inch line on the straight of grain. So I would just put together a few of these scraps, layer them up, and then just cut, or cut strips if they're long enough. If they're not, I just cut like that. So with this one, you can see there's the bias edge, here's the straighter grain edge. So always make sure, and then you can just put your 2-inch line up here and cut this one out, and just continue like that with all your little bits of scraps, and then you can use up all your scraps. It gives you a lovely wide selection of fabrics that you can choose from then, and you have random pieces that go in, and to me that really makes the quilt more interesting. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and I'll catch you up next time. Next time I want to talk about the way we press the cross blocks to get the finish. Okay, bye.